What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So what I want to discuss today is what are we going to see moving forward? Because a lot of people have been asking, what's going on with the Build Back Better Act? Are we going to see it? What has been changing? Are lawmakers discussing this? They were just on recess for 2 weeks. What got done? So I want to address what is happening because there is some movement. Also, we do have a confirmation of what is going to be somewhat in President Biden's State of the Union address that's going to happen tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you plan on watching that, great. If not, don't worry. I will update you on what goes on tomorrow as well. But let's get into the update. Because reports earlier this month indicate that the White House aides were discussing moving away from President Biden's Build Back Better agenda altogether. They want to just get rid of that and move towards something that revolves around deficit reduction. And the whole purpose behind this is because Senator Joe Manchin said we have to reduce our deficit. Now, the White House confirmed this today. Again, this was reported 3 or 4 weeks ago. The White House confirmed this today, saying that yes, this is true, and that the Build Back Better Act wasn't able to get enough support. Now, the White House stated that the new talks are going to revolve around the deficit and the deficit reduction. And they have to do this because they have to appease one man, that's Senator Joe Manchin. Now, Manchin has made it very clear that he's not against another piece of legislation. He just doesn't support a bill that would likely contribute to rising inflation and also adding to the national deficit. That is his biggest issue. And so he made it very clear that there were things that he supported. He even proposed a very specific bill to President Biden, I believe in the beginning of, November or December? I believe it was December. He proposed this bill and he left it there. President Biden never agreed to it. They never discussed, let's put this in front of the Senate. That was never discussed. It was just a private proposal from Manchin to Biden. And Biden didn't jump on it. Well, beginning of January, Senator Joe Manchin said, you know what? That is it. I don't even like that. I'm not even going to support that one because things change so quickly. So here's the expectation as of right now, is that Democrats are working through multiple deficit reduction plans, and hopefully they can add this plan to the Build Back Better agenda. Right now, the ideas that are being thrown around, they aren't 100% clear, but currently the two main ideas are $500 billion for climate programs, $400 billion for healthcare initiatives, and there would be about $800 billion spread out over 10 years from tax revenue. Again, we're still a little bit behind because we just talked about spending $900 billion, but only bringing in $800 billion. So that's kind of where we're at. These discussions, according to reports, are ongoing, but tomorrow night could provide some insight to the American people as to what we should expect moving forward. And you're probably wondering, well, why tomorrow night? Well, it's President Biden's State of the Union address. Now, even though lawmakers should have an idea of what is being discussed, the weird thing is President Biden will come out and say certain things without really relaying it to Congress. Congress would say certain things without really relaying it to the rest of Congress or President Biden himself. So nobody's really working together. Now, today, the White House, they released some details regarding President Biden's State of the Union address. And I want to go over what is being talked about. They started off by saying that he's going to talk about child tax credits, most likely what they have done for the American people, for our economy, for children, and after they expired, what really changed then? So he's going to discuss that. I don't think he's really going to talk about a new plan of child tax credit payments, but he could try to push lawmakers to, we need to get this done. The American people are watching. Let's do this. So I expect that. He's going to talk about paid family and medical leave, and this is something that we kind of expected. This was something that was really close to being passed, was some form of paid family and medical leave. It was only going to be for 4 weeks, but 4 weeks is better than nothing that we currently have. And he's going to talk about Pell Grants and more as well. But he will also be talking about his 4-point plan. And here's what's going to be discussed. this 4-point plan is going to be towards lowering costs for the American people. Now, how are we going to do this? Now, one of the things that we know is going to be discussed is the Competitiveness Act that is being that was pushed through the House. So he's going to talk about a more Made in America plan. This is something that former President Donald Trump even addressed 2 years ago, was Made in America, Buy in America, right? President Biden is also going to talk about reducing expenses for families. Okay, this is key for families. Now, I bring this up because we have seen this over and over again. Is what about those that are, that don't have a family, don't have children? What about them? People on Social Security, fixed incomes, college students. I don't know if we're going to hear anything about that, but we will see. He also wants to talk about promoting the competition, right? And eliminating barriers for jobs. These are the discussions. This is coming from the White House directly. So I don't know exactly what's going to be discussed. These are just the talking points. Okay? What I can tell you is that right now, the State of the Union address, even though it's one of those things that a lot of people are going to watch it, but one of the things that you need to understand about this is this was actually taking a back seat to what was going on with Russia and Ukraine. And so that's a huge issue. So one of the things that we are expecting to happen very soon, because Senator Dick Durbin, he actually is requesting, and he's going to push this through, but he was requesting that about 30,000 Ukrainians that are here in the United States, that they will get temporary protective status for at least a short period of time. Because what he's saying is, if these people who came in with a visa are legally here in the United States, we can't, if their visa were to expire, we can't send them back to a country that is currently being invaded, currently being bombed, right? We can't do that. So that's what he was saying, is this is one of his priorities, and he's requesting this gets done immediately. But again, I don't want to go too much into what's going on with Russia and Ukraine right now, because according to reports, there are discussions. Okay, there was a discussion today regarding Russia, or with Russia and Ukraine, not with Vladimir Putin or President Zelensky. Though they weren't there, but their leaders were there to discuss, and then they will go back. They will talk with their respective leaders, and they will try to come up with what's the next step. Now, Russia said that, according to reports, Russia was saying that they were pleased with some of the asks from Ukraine. Ukraine said all they really asked for was just an immediate ceasefire. But just hours after this discussion, right, this meeting, we were seeing reports that there were like bombs, there were loud explosions in Kyiv. And so that's the question is, were these discussions, were they being true? Were they being honest with what they were asking for and requesting? And was it going to be discussed first, or were troops still going to try to storm the Ukrainian capital? So we'll see. I promise I'll have more updates on that in the morning. Now let's get to what is actually being proposed for stimulus, okay? Because even though the federal government is calling some of their benefits and relief from the Build Back Better Act as stimulus, when the American people hear stimulus, they're talking about, they're pretty much expecting a check. Now, as of right now, one of the bigger proposals out there is actually coming from the governor of Maine. Governor Mills has actually proposed a $500 stimulus check. This is going to go to roughly 800,000 people in Maine, 275,000 of which didn't get a stimulus check last time because they were either retired, they were business owners, or they were self-employed. That is key. And I want to discuss this for a second, because what we are seeing is that some states are coming forward and they're proposing different packages, different legislation for those that didn't get a stimulus check in the previous packages, whether it's from the state or from the federal government. They didn't get anything. So I think this is big, because if we see more states propose additional stimulus, it could go towards those that are retired, that don't work that are very low income earners. And I think that could be very beneficial because lower income earners, they spend the majority of their money on rent, utilities, and food. Okay, well, I'll throw in medications as well, but it's rent, utilities, and food. Those are the three things. So those are very stable. Okay, those are necessities. When you spend your money on necessities as opposed to luxuries, we get more stability. So we'll see. We also heard today that California has lifted all indoor mask mandates. This is pretty big because this includes those that are unvaccinated and people in schools as well. The White House, they also lifted their mask mandate as well, and this is coming right before the State of the Union address. So things are getting better, right? We are looking like things are going to open up, things are going to improve, and we will see where this country is headed in the near future. So as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on, share all latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.